This is just a short video. It's an introduction to the Intranquil spirit. I'm going to break this video. Well, not this video. I'm going to break this subject down into a few videos to get as much information as I can in. Because a lot of people are approaching me with regards to Intranquil spirit love spells. Uh, you probably heard these workings referred to as lonely soul, anima sola. There's many different, different ways. No matter what the magical paradigm, there's different names for these workings. You've probably seen the statue of Anima Sola, little statue where she's reaching up with her hands in chains, because the Intranquil spirit is. It's supposed to be a spirit who's wandering this plane, who's trapped. A spirit, sometimes said in purgatory. Uh, Suicide victims, car accidents, rapists, murderers, people like that. So, in my opinion, for a love working, it wouldn't be my ideal way to go, if you know what I mean. I've recently uh, had a client who wants to go down this route. We've discussed it in detail, and I agreed to go ahead with it. But I do this working from a different angle than other people. I don't do it the traditional way. Uh, I also call in the likes of Santissima Morte, who is here, because she is a matron of mine, and obviously she gives me protection. She is my protector, uh, because I'm a devotee of hers. I have been for many years. So I will call her, or I'll call other spirits that I work heavily with as well into the scenario, because I do need protection, and the client needs protection as well. Because what we're doing is we're opening up a porthole, basically. So I will offer Santissima Morte a candle as well. I'll show in the next video how I will go about that side of things. Also, the spirit that I work with, the Intranquil spirit, is not just any random spirit. I like to I hate that word use, I like to call upon a spirit that was known to me in life, if that makes sense, and died, you know, in a way that is not at all nice, horrific, or whatever you want to call it. And that is the reason that is how I go about it. I will call on a spirit that is known to me, rather than just a random spirit who's walking the earth. So what I do is I'll communicate via pendulum, cards, and we'll make a deal that way. Also, you have to look at things from a point of view that your loved one, this spirit, even though I am familiar with the spirit, the spirit is going to attach itself to the person that you want to bring back, and it will be draining on the person. There's no doubt about that. And the person, you have a good chance that you will break that person down, and I don't mean in a good way. And a lot of anger can come into the scenario when that person does come back to you. A lot of anger can come into the scenario. Often, these workings, I like to repeat them, because at times the spirit, will, once the tranquil spirit does what he she is supposed to do, the working, she's done what he's supposed to do, and that's it. Bring the person to you, but now you have to do your bit and bring the love back, repair everything and stuff. It's not at all an easy way. to do a love spell. Not at all. At the end of the day, you're sending the damned after your loved one. So I'm very careful as to who I do these workings for. And I like to look into the situation from time to time. These are never guaranteed workings either. Some people seem to think that these are 100% guaranteed workings as well. No working is 100% guaranteed. Magick has so many variables, so just bear that in mind. I've seen candles where you light a candle and you just say a verse. I wouldn't be happy with that, because you truly don't know who you're calling up. You could be calling on anyone, and then, like I said, that spirit is attaching itself onto your loved one. And also, like I said, I do work for the client as well, because you can often feel the effects. I'm trying to explain this. Sometimes I feel the trauma as to how the person died. If it's a suicide, I can feel the anxiety, the desperation, that can wash itself over into the client, onto the client side of the fence. You don't want that. So that's why I have to bring in a goddess or a god into the scenario, like Santissima Muerte. To me, she is death incarnate, not incarnate, personified, excuse me. To me, she's the correct one, and that's why I chose her. She's the correct one to keep me protected. She's also very good for love matters as well. And if anything does come at me from the Intranquil spirit, she will help, if that makes sense. She'll stop it in its tracks. And that goes for the client as well, because I have the client to think about too. It's not, like I said, it's by no means a decision that you need to take lightly. Be very, very careful. Even though I'm working with spirits that are known to me, it can still prove to be very dangerous, because those spirits, people have a notion that whenever you pass over, that you suddenly change, and you're how can I phrase it, everything's mended, and your spiritual life is great. I personally think that you have to do work on the other side, and I think, especially with suicide and being taken out of life very quickly, be it even through a car accident, it's sudden, and I think that the spirit is not prepared, and sometimes that spirit can be very angry, very angry. They died the way they did, so. And that is what you're sending after your ex-partner to bring back, or the person you're fixated on. So I'm not knocking it by any means, because people have used it. I've seen it work. I can't deny that. I've seen it work. But I like to do it my way. Like I said, I like to call on the spirits that I know. The other way is something I would never, ever, ever, the candle and just reading a prayer out to just any spirit is something I would never do. It's something I would never even consider. So in the next video, I will go on and explain a bit more about how I do it, and how I make offerings to her. I won't show actually the spell itself, but what I will do is I'll show how I make an offering to her, and I'll also I'll sort of go into what I say to the Intranquil spirit, and I probably need to do a reading for the client as well. So it's basically just a short little video. I want to put this out so that if there's anyone thinking of doing this, please be very careful. Be very, very careful. This is good for revenge work. It's the kind of thing that works well for revenge work as well. I would much prefer doing this in a situation that revenge is needed rather than love. But the client was basically, he's pretty certain that he wanted this working, and so he was really adamant that this is something that he felt could change his situation. So we're waiting to see what happens, and I'll take it from there. So anyway, there will be a second part, maybe a third part. So I'll get back to any of you who are waiting on emails being returned, etc. If you have any questions, if you're thinking about doing this, leave it in the comment section. I can get back to you if you need advice, anything along those lines. So I'll say good night.